Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to install Kali Linux version 2023.1 on VMware. Now the first thing we have to do is download and install VMware, and to do that head to your Chrome browser or any other browser you use and then search for VMware. Now you can see the first page over here which heads to vmware.com, so click on it. Now click on products up here, and under desktop hypervisor you can see Workstation Player, so click on Workstation Player. Now you can see directly here VMware Workstation Player, so click on download for free. Okay, select the latest version over here, which is currently 17.0. You can see the release date 2nd February 2023. So let's click on go to downloads. Now you can see for Linux and for Windows. So this is VMware Workstation 17.0.1 player for Linux, and this is VMware for Windows 64 operating system. So we are installing VMware for Windows. So we are going to download this version for Windows. So I'll click on download now by the right, and it should start downloading. Now while this is downloading, we also have to download Kali Linux installation file, and to do that let's open a new tab and then search for Kali Linux. And you can see the first page over here, Kali Linux pen testing and ethical hacking, which heads to kali.org. So let's click on that, and here we go. Now click on the download button on the screen over here, and it will take you down here where you can see the ARM image, installer image, virtual machines and mobile. So we are going to use the installer image, so click on installer images over here, and it will take you down here. You can see Kali Linux 2023.1 changelog, and this is the installer which we are going to download. Now click on the installer for complete offline installation with customization. This file is about 3.6 gigabytes, so you know what to expect. So once I click on it, it should start downloading. Okay, so it is now downloading, so we just have to wait for the download, and then we can close our browser and begin the installation. The download has been completed. Now let's close our browser and begin the installation. Now open your download folder. This is Kali Linux 2023.1 installer image, and this is VMware. So first let's install VMware, so let's double click on it. Now click on next to initiate the installation, accept the terms, and then click on next. Add VMware Workstation console tools into system path. Make sure this is selected, and then next. Click on next, next, and then install. Successfully installed. Now click on finish. So we've successfully installed VMware Workstation, and you can see it is now on our desktop. Now let's load this program. So I'm just going to double tap it to open VMware. Use VMware Workstation 17 player for free for non-commercial use. Continue. Finish. Okay, so this is VMware. Now we have to create a new virtual machine. So click on create a new virtual machine over here. Now we are going to install from installer disk image file, which is ISO. So select this option over here, and then browse the installer file here. Now go to your download folder, and then locate Kali Linux installer file we downloaded, which is 3.7 gigabytes. Open. Okay, now click on next, and then set the guest operating system to Linux. Set the version over here to other Linux 5x kernel 64 bits, and then click on next. Now let's call this virtual machine Kali Linux 2023.1, and this is the location where it will be installed, but we don't really need to do anything about that. Now click on next, and then set the maximum storage you want to give to this machine. Now anything from 50 gig is actually okay, but I'm gonna allocate 80 gigabytes of storage, so that is it, 80 gigabytes. Now select split virtual disk into multiple files and then click on next. And here we go, you can see the details of our machine. Now we can click on customize hardware over here and then set the RAM of our virtual machine. Now I will recommend at most 40% of your RAM to your virtual machine. Anything more than that will slow down your host computer. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM on my PC, but I'm going to allocate about 5 gigabytes to my virtual machine, and that is less than 40%, and that should be okay without any issues. You shouldn't allocate more than 40% of your RAM to your virtual machine, else it will slow down your host computer. Same thing with the processor over here. I can increase the number of processor cores over here. You can see I'm going to give it 3 since I have 8 processor cores on my PC. Now anything else you want to change, you can actually make changes to it here, but we are good with the settings the way it is. Now lastly, click on display over here and then accelerate 3D graphics, which will make it perform better. Now click on close after making this change and then click on finish. So you can see our virtual machine named Kali Linux 2023.1. Once we click on play virtual machine, we should begin the installation. So let's click on play. Now hit enter to go with graphical install. Select the language for the installation and then hit continue. Set your country, region and area, so just set your country there, your keyboard format, continue. Now the host name is the name that your system will be identified with on the network, so I'm just going to give this EverythingTech and then continue. Leave the domain name empty unless you have a domain you want to place there. Enter your full name for this machine. Continue. Enter a username which you're going to use to access Kali Linux. Continue. And then enter a password which we are going to use to log in. And then hit continue. Now select your desired time zone and then hit continue. Now we are going with guided partition, which will use the entire disk. So select the first option over here which says guided use entire disk and then continue. And then this is the disk we allocated. We allocated about 80 gigabytes. You can see 85 gigabytes over here. So make sure it is selected and then continue. And then all files in one partition, which is recommended. It will partition the files by itself. Continue. Now you can see the 2 partitions it has created. This is the primary partition and this is the logical partition. Now click on finish partitioning and write changes to disk. Select yes to write changes to disk. Continue. Now select the desktop environment you want to use. Now by default, Xface is the default Kali Linux desktop environment, which actually looks good. But if you want to use GNOME or KDE Plasma, you can just select the option, but we don't really need to do anything. We are good with Xface, so just continue. And this should install Kali Linux successfully. Now select yes to install Grub bootloader and continue. Select your drive down there and continue. The installation has been completed. Now click on continue to reboot your machine. Now log in with your username and password. So basically, this is how to install Kali Linux version 2023.1 on VMware Workstation Player. If this was helpful, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notification. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.